The World Series, the UFC Heavyweight Championship, the Pac-12 Championship, the Big Ten Championship, the NFC Playoffs, the Daytona 500, and the UEFA Champions League Final. The world's biggest events are on Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports!
Welcome to the Chevrolet World Series pregame show on Fox.
Coming off a historic performance by the face of their franchise.
That ball is absolutely crushed. It's a gunner! How about 3 on the night?
What a game from Albert Pujols.
The St. Louis Cardinals headed into Game 4 looking for a commanding lead in the World Series. And as the sun set in the Texas sky, the defending AL champion Rangers turned to the youngest pitcher in their rotation to cool the Cardinals' hot bats. Behind the raucous hometown faithful, Derek Holland pitched the game of his life.
Big strikeout from Derek Holland.
Unbelievable.
This World Series is tied 2 games apiece.
Now, the World Series becomes a best of 3. And tonight, the Cardinals and the Rangers send their aces to the mound. 2 more wins. That's all it will take to become the world champions of baseball. Game 5 of the World Series is next on Fox.
This is the final game of the season in Arlington, and these fans will not go quietly. Who will grab the series lead in a critical Game 5? It is time to find out as the St. Louis Cardinals battle the Texas Rangers. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Fox's continuing coverage of the 2011 World Series alongside Eric Karros and White Sox World Championship catcher A.J. Pierzynski. I am Chris Rose, and guys, it is a beautiful night for baseball. It has been a wonderful series so far, tied at 2 games apiece for the first time since 2003. So here's the scenario. 1 more game here in Arlington tonight, then possibly 2 more out in St. Louis. EK, which manager would you rather be at this point?
Well, it's a 3-game series, and I like Ron Washington. I'd rather be Ron Washington. I like Texas in 7 to begin this series, and nothing has changed my mind. I know in a 3-game series, you'd like to have the home field advantage. Texas doesn't have that, but they get the first game at home. They get their ace on the mound tonight. And when they go to St. Louis for Game 6, Colby Lewis, their best starter in all their postseason, he gets the ball. Much rather be Texas.
I'd rather be Tony La Russa. I know you're on the Texas bandwagon, but Tony La Russa has his ace on the mound tonight. He has all the confidence in the world in him. He already beat C.J. Wilson at home in Game 1. Plus, they have Game 6 and 7 in St. Louis. How did they get Game 6 and 7 in St. Louis? C.J. Wilson gave up a home run to Prince Fielder in the All-Star game. So they can thank C.J. Wilson. Not only they beat him in the postseason already, they can thank him for having 6 and 7 back in St. Louis. Tony La Russa told us that straight up in the manager's meeting today. I love the position we're in. Even if we lose tonight, 6 and 7 back in St. Louis will be just fine.
All right, well, right now, let's see how Ron Washington is feeling. He is standing by live on the field with our Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Chris. Ron, it got a little animated out of the mound in the 9th inning with Derek last night. Take us through that conversation.
Well, you know, as soon as I walked out there, the first thing he told me is I can get a ground ball to get a double play. And I said, Derek, you know, I know you can, especially the way you've been throwing the ball tonight. I said, but at this point of the game, I'm going to go to Neftali Feliz. And he said, come on, Skip. I said, Derek, great job, but I'm going to let Neftali get these last 2.
All right, we're down to a best of 3. We're going back to St. Louis. Your ace against theirs tonight. How do you see it the rest of the way?
Well, what I see us doing is going out there, getting an opportunity to play our game. CJ keep us in the ball game tonight. I don't see why we can't pull off a victory. That's certainly the way we're thinking. It all depends on what the pitchers do. You know, if they allow those bats to wake up, it could be a high-scoring game. But if the pitchers do what they're supposed to do, it might only take 1 hit, and hopefully we get it.
Now, CJ has struggled in the postseason. Derek had struggled, but he came in with a different game plan last night, pitched inside. Are you going to need to slap CJ on the cheek the way you did Derek to get the same performance out of him?
No, I don't think so. You know, I know CJ understands what's at stake right now. And, you know, he has the ability to pitch on the inside part of the plate also. But more than that, it's not so much just pitching on the inside part of the plate. It's you have to use everything you have, and you have to throw it for strikes, and you have to keep those guys off balance. Because if you don't, they will make you look bad.
Wash, thank you very much. Chris, back to you.
All right, guys, thank you very much. We appreciate the time from Ron Washington as well. Now, guys, both managers always meet the media before a game. And Ron Washington this afternoon, he said, you know what? I'm not as dumb as most people think that I am out there. He's out to prove something.
Well, he really is. And I think we're partly responsible for promoting that image because we're showing his personality. And some people have a tendency to focus more on the personality than his ability as a manager. If he wins this World Series, he will have beaten Joe Madden of the Tampa Bay Rays. He will have beaten Jim Leyland of the Detroit Tigers and Tony La Russa of the St. Louis Cardinals. Those are three great managers. And Ron Washington is back for this in this World Series. The guy can manage.
Wash is a guy as a current player you love to play for. Why? He has all the enthusiasm in the world. You see the smile on Derek Holland's face. He kind of slapped him a little bit. Derek Holland loved it and went out and threw the game of his life. He brings confidence every day. He brings an energy every day. You never hear about Ron Washington selling his players out to the media, saying this, saying that to the newspaper. He's behind him 100%. He just says, go out and play. I'll get your back. I'll do whatever you want me to do, whatever you need, just as long as you're comfortable and you can play up to your ability. And he's gotten them to 2 World Series. Before that, they had never even won a postseason series. So he's not dumb. I think he's really smart. He's got a great idea of what he's doing.
Yeah, you can't confuse somebody that's having a lot of fun that doesn't take his job seriously.
Yep.
He's there.
Yep, Ron Washington getting it done in his 5 years here in Arlington. Well, we're getting all ready for Game 5, but of course we want you to join our conversation during the World Series on Twitter. My account's at Chris Rose, the whole group at MLB on Fox, and special guest tweeter, Phillies All-Star center fielder at Shane Victorino. Don't forget to use hashtag World Series in that tweet. Well, a series that started in St. Louis with a pair of one-run games continued with 2 more memorable evenings in the state of Texas. This World Series might turn into one for the ages. The Chevrolet pregame show is sponsored by Chevrolet. Thanks for making Chevrolet and baseball a part of America for the last 100 years. Getting ready for Game 5 of the World Series here in Arlington. Yadier Molina, 4 RBI performance in that Game 3 blowout win. But he's more interested in who's out on the mound, and maybe the guy will be thrown to him in the 9th inning tonight. That guy, Jason Mott. Nice and relaxed during batting practice today. Let's see, do I throw it here? No. And all right. One of the fun guys to cover during the 2011 World Series. Now, regardless of what happens tonight, this series is heading back to St. Louis. In fact, the Cardinals will leave right after the game. That's known as Getaway Day. Until losing last Thursday, the Cards had won 17 in a row on days they traveled. That makes for some enjoying times, 35,000 feet in the air.
This is the Cardinals plane getting ready to head to Fort Worth.
Now the Cardinals' happy flight, a reference to the mood on the airplane.
It seems like we've won a fair amount of those getaway day games when we travel. We just have a good time, you know. Hey guys, let's win tonight and let's have a happy flight.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and the Cardinals are National League champions and headed to the World Series.
I think Rafael Furcal started that.
Well, it's something that we brought Rafael Furcal in the trade here. I think that's when things start turning around.
I think there's more meaning to it than just happy flight. It's got a let's go mentality to it.
Now, I mean, it's flashing up on the scoreboard. People are writing about it. It's kind of turned into like its own little thing.
People ask me about this postseason. Well, it's the best one I've ever been involved in. This is the most fun you can have. Now, we'll see how much fun it is because, you know, you want to get the 4 wins before they do.
Who cuts really loose on the happy flight?
I'm going to leave that on the flights.
What happens on the flight stays on the flight.
Happy Flight in theaters nationwide starting tonight. All kidding aside, though, it's kind of an impressive streak they were on, right?
It really is amazing for me as a player these days with all the travel you do and everything, with day games after night games, 9-game road trips, you're trying to get home. To win that many games, it blows my mind, especially on getaway day. And they said Rafael Furcal started that. I want to give credit to Octavio Dotel, who's an ex-teammate of mine. He used to always come in the locker room and say that. But if the Cardinals want to have a happy flight tonight, they better hit. And it better be somebody besides Lance Berkman or Albert Pujols. The rest of the lineup just has not produced. Albert had that one great game. Lance Berkman's been very consistent with multiple hit games. But the other guys haven't done anything. Rafael Furcal included. Skip Schumacher's in the lineup tonight for John Jay to try to give them some more offense. But these guys just haven't got it done. They need to find a way off C.J. Wilson, a guy they've already beat, to get on base for Albert and Lance and score some runs.
Texas will win if we see Alexi Ogando, and he is good. Alexi Ogando has appeared 3 times so far in this World Series, and he's been abysmal. 3 appearances, he's got a 27 ERA. He was dominant in the division series, dominant in the league championship series. We will see Alexi Ogando tonight if the Rangers have a lead, if they have to bridge the gap to Adams and then give the ball to Felice. That's why, if he is good like he was in the previous 2 series, Rangers win. If he's not, we got trouble.
What does Alexi Ogando pay you in agent fees? Because you've been on him for 2 series now.
That's why I'm pumping him up. I'm 15%, brother.
I mean, great for you. Congratulations.
All right, guys, coming up next, we're not talking about the bullpens, but rather the starters here in Game 5. It's a rematch of the tussle from Game 1. What do C.J. Wilson and Chris Carpenter have to do to give each of their respective squads the World Series lead? Eric and A.J. break it down when we come back on Fox. Welcome back to the Chevrolet World Series pregame show on Fox. 2-2 series between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Texas Rangers, one of the hitting stars throughout the postseason. ALCS MVP Nelson Cruz, 7 playoff homers. That is 1 shy of the record shared by Barry Bonds and Carlos Beltran. First pitch of Game 5 coming your way in a few minutes. It'll be thrown by that man, C.J. Wilson, who has struggled this postseason. The All-Star is part philosopher, part daredevil, and always looking for that next great adrenaline rush.
Are you guys rolling right now?
That'd be great.
No, it's great.
CJ's just, he's got everything going. He's a weirdo. He's a very intelligent guy. He does race cars. He does photos. He's adventurous.
He's got some definite off-the-field interest, which is great. I think it's good for anybody to have things that can occupy their time. But I mean, when it comes to baseball, the guy's serious.
He's a staunch competitor. He don't think anyone on earth is better than him.
As a teammate, you can't really ask for anything more than that.
I had Tommy John surgery in 2003, 2004. You know, baseball wasn't a certainty at that point. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life if baseball didn't work out. So that's when I kind of got into all these other things, all these alternative activities that, you know, non-golf, I'll say that, non-golf stuff.
He's very, you know, different than most guys I've played with.
He knows a lot about a lot of things.
I really want to be able to do everything. Like, I don't know how to sail a boat, but I know how to, like, fly a plane, fly a helicopter, you know, start a fire, knife fight. Just fun stuff. It's just nice to accumulate that knowledge, just in case, you know what I mean? Like in an airplane situation, I could land our team plane.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I feel good knowing I could, like, put the 757 down on the ground and everybody's going to give me a high five on the way out.
Well, I'm looking for parachutes. I'm not taking that chance. I'm going emergency exit and I'm gone.
He's an interesting guy. Is he on our team charter?
I love that Michael Young line, but CJ, how do you find time to do all this stuff? How do you do it? A knife fight, start fires, fly a helicopter as a player? How the heck do you find time to learn all this stuff? If I ever go on Survivor, you're my partner, CJ.
Oh, good call on that. Ranger fans would just like him to pitch right now and pitch well, something he has not done. In fact, he could set a dubious record tonight. Nobody has ever lost 4 games in a single postseason. That could happen if he gets hung with the L. What's been the difference? Because he was an all-star this year.
Yeah, you know, if he can control a 757, he's got to be able to control that little white ball, because That's been his biggest problem. And it's easy to sit here and say, well, he's going to have to execute his pitches. Well, no kidding. He's out there, he's trying to do it. But there's two reasons you can't do it. One, you're hurt, which he's not, or he gets caught up in the moment. And I think that's been the issue. During the regular season, the last 2 years, he has the lowest home run to innings pitch ratio of any pitcher. This postseason, 6 home runs. That tells me he gets excited, he doesn't control pitches, he makes mistakes. Somehow he's got to calm himself down, get in the moment, and come up big just once this postseason.
I totally agree with you, EK, because he's done great in the beginning of games. The first 3 innings, his ERA is well under 3. It seems like he gets too excited, overamped, whatever you want to call it. And after the 5th inning, his ERA balloons up, well, almost 2 runs. It's amazing. I don't know if it's too much excitement, too much adrenaline being in the World Series, but calm down at the start, pace yourself, and give the Rangers a long start.
One other thing to keep in mind, guys, he's a free agent to be. This could be his final start as a Texas Ranger.
You could hire Eric as his agent, maybe.
That's
I got
good.
Ogando.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Not enough time, not enough time. Well, tonight, C.J. Wilson and the Rangers are going against the guy that beat them in Game 1 of this 2011 World Series. The Cardinals ace, Chris Carpenter. St. Louis has won 11 of his 13 playoff starts, including all 4 this season. EK, the guy has been dominant.
Well, he has. In any big game, he's come up big. When guys are out on base, runners in scoring position, he shuts them down. He's got 4 pitches. We focused his last start. He's going to throw the curveball. He didn't even throw it. What he does, he never gives in. Tony La Russa said if there's one game he'd want to win, he'd have Chris Carpenter on the mound.
He is the right guy for the St. Louis Cardinals. There's no doubt about that. He's courageous. He's fearless. He feels like he's invincible when he pitches, and the Cardinals feel the same way. If he's able to throw his curveball down to lefties, down to righties, and that cutter into lefties and away from righties, he's going to have another tremendous start. He already did it in the World Series against this same lineup. Plus, he made probably the defensive play of the World Series with that play with Pujols where he dove into first base. He's the guy the St. Louis Cardinals pay to be in this game, and he's the guy that will win this game if he's right.
Who's winning?
Texas. Texas is what? My man Ogando is going to impact this game, and he will be the difference why the Rangers win tonight.
Well, I picked the Rangers in 6, so in order to get them in 6, they have to win tonight. So I guess I have to pick the Rangers to win.
Don't try to do the math on this set, okay? don't do that. Okay?
Harvard of the South. Harvard of the South.
Or have C.J. Wilson help you out. He seems to know a little bit about everything. All right, we'll see you after the game, but time right now to get you up to the public address announcer, Chuck Morgan, and the playing of our national anthem.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please rise and please remove your caps. As Texas native, singer, songwriter, and actress, Demi Lovato honors America with the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We are just about ready for first pitch, and after tonight, one of these teams will be one win from grabbing the hardware. It's the Cardinals and Rangers in Game 5 on Fox. Welcome back to the Chevrolet World Series pregame show on Fox. Just about time to see who will grab a 3-2 edge in the World Series. Game 5 between the Cardinals and the Rangers coming your way. And right now, let's send you upstairs and say, hello, Joe Buck.
Hey there, Chris, and everybody here in Arlington is ready to go. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver is coming right up. Well, these fans are ready, and so far we have seen 4 tremendous games, and really they've all been memorable for their own reasons. We had the low-scoring games in St. Louis, the blowout in Game 3, but we had history with Pujols. And then last night, young Derek Holland took center stage, and he took over Game 4, and now here tonight, it's Game 5, and Tim McCarver, I ask you how players will treat a Game 5 with this World Series tied 2-2.
I think with the World Series tied 2-2, the players look at Game 5 like a Game 7, a sense of urgency, so they can go back with the hammer in St. Louis being up 3 games to 2.
Well, we've been covering a lot of postseason baseball, and it seems like it's been forever since we've had the opportunity to talk about starting pitching and a matchup going in. Each side has their ace going. Carpenter is pitching on the road here tonight.
Well, the last time Chris Carpenter pitched on the road, it was Philadelphia. That brilliant performance, beating the Phillies 1-0 in Game 5 of the LDS, and that sent the Cardinals to the National League Championship Series.
And we all know the story with Texas. Cliff Lee gone. The new #1 is C.J. Wilson, and so far this postseason, he does not have a win.
Well, C.J.'s got to be tired of hearing and reading about the fact that he has 5 consecutive postseason games that he has not won, and I think he's going to have a very determined game tonight. I did not say win, but I will say determined.
Creeping out on the edge of that limb.
Right.
But
and
not willing to pick.
And that's what broadcasters do.
Protect.
Right.
Crawl out and protect. This series has had so far a little bit of everything.
The Cardinals won Game 1 behind an unlikely World Series hero. The Rangers battled back to steal a win in Game 2. Game 3 saw Albert Pujols write his name in the record books. Last night, the young left-hander Derek Holland evened up the series. Tonight, one of these teams will be one game away from the championship. Game 5 is next. The World Series is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. 79 degrees on a beautiful day here in Arlington, and this should be fun here tonight. A matchup of C.J. Wilson and Chris Carpenter. And in a moment, the Rangers, who tied this World Series at 2 games apiece last night, will take the field. Moments ago, Mike Napoli.
It's a nice way to start a game.
That's how is that how you used? Why have you never told me that after all these years?
I used to do that, but I had the mask on.
Who was that? Jackie Moore, one of the most docile, peaceful people
it was
ever met in my life, is slapping Mike Napoli around as we get ready for this Monday night game before a travel day tomorrow, and then to St. Louis for Game 6 at least. Home plate umpire tonight, just to get that out of the way and tell you who the men in blue are. We've got Barrett behind home plate, Ted Barrett, Gary Cedarstrom at first, Jerry Lane, the crew chief, at second, Greg Gibson is at third, Ron Coppola down the right field line, and Alfonso Marquez is in left. And there's the man on the bump, C.J. Wilson, getting out to the middle of all the action, and he is looking for his first postseason win here in 2011. The opening pitch is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. And the Cardinals have a little different look to their starting lineup down at the bottom. It's brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. For Kyle leads it off, the birthday boy. He's at short. Then it's Alan Craig, Albert Pujols, Matt Holliday cleans up. The DH is Berkman. David Freese at third. Yadier Molina does the catching. Skip Schumacher gets the start. That's his first of this World Series. And then Nick Punto is again at second base against the left-handed throwing C.J. Wilson.
That's this postseason 0-3, and look at that bulging earned run average, giving up 6 earned runs against Tampa Bay, and then 5 his next outing against Detroit. And the scouting report on C.J. Wilson, from closer to starter. He started game 1, and we talked about the fact that he had 52 saves his second year as a starter, and he's pitched over 200 innings in each year, and that's that Nolan Ryan influence. So 4 losses in postseason. It's never been done, and CJ hopes it's not his tonight.
Take a look at the defense behind CJ. And there are no surprises. Same look as last night. Murphy in left, Hamilton in center, Nelson Cruz in right. Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andruzzi, and Kinsler, Mitch Moreland. Second consecutive start. Napoli again behind the plate. He had the big swing last night, a 3-run home run against Mitchell Boggs. And on the mound, it's C.J. Wilson. And for C.J. Wilson, a former 5th-round pick in 01, he came up in 2005. And as Tim said, a guy who's gone from the bullpen and the closer's role to the top spot in this Rangers rotation. Today is the 34th birthday of Rafael Furcal. Have we ever had a more relaxed start to a World Series game?
Well, the weather here is just absolutely phenomenal. No humidity, little breeze, just beautiful.
And these fans have enjoyed, well, they enjoyed last night as they made noise from beginning to end and saluted Derek Holland about as well as any pitcher can be saluted leaving in the 9th inning. Here we go. Ball 1 from C.J. Wilson. Furcal's been struggling. He is 5 for 38 since game 2 of the NLCS. Tony La Russa's manager thought about putting him in the number 9 spot. He left him alone on his birthday. And he tried to shoot one down the right field line. Strike 1. La Russa telling us the guys are going to try and settle down Furcal. He leaves that to some of the other players to get him to relax and quit swinging so big so early. No stranger to October baseball. La Russa, and a shot is caught by Beltre. Just as he started the game last night.
We talked to Ron Washington about the influence of Adrian Beltre, the former Gold Glover. And the fact that C.J. Wilson throws a lot of balls down and in to right-handed batters. And the third baseman comes into play. And it's nice that the Rangers, said Ron, have a Gold Glover down there at third.
Now Alan Craig, you saw the reaction from Furcal. 2 hops. Beltre, 2 out. So Alan Craig, who was hitless here in Texas since that first inning home run 2 nights ago, he didn't take long. And here is Albert Pujols. It was 5 out of 16 in this World Series. Last night was 0 for 4.
Scouting report on Albert Pujols: play him deep.
Very nice. And they play him to pull everywhere. The fans play him to pull out in the bleachers.
What a performance 2 nights ago, and hitless in last night's game against Holland.
Ball 1. And really, C.J. Wilson has to work in the same areas Derek Holland was so successful with, inside to right-handed batters. Then he can go away.
Right. The difference is Wilson features a different pitch inside. Holland featured the fastball inside, the four-seamer. And Wilson features the cutter inside. There it was again.
And it's 2-0. Cardinals have Chris Carpenter going to the hill in the bottom of the inning. 3-0.
Pujols will swing 3-0 occasionally.
He does, and he flies to center. Back is Hamilton, and a perfect start for C.J. Wilson after a half in Game 5. Carpenter to work. No score. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by the all-new Volkswagen Passat. That's Das Auto. Take a look at the Taco Bell starting lineup for the Rangers. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Same look as last night. Ian Kinsler leads off, then Andrews. Josh Hamilton, Michael Young, the DH, Adrian Beltre, Nelson Cruz, David Murphy, Mike Napoli batting 8th. A lot of power down there. And Mitch Moreland, who is 2 for 23 this postseason. With his second consecutive start, and there are the numbers this postseason for Carpenter.
Pitched the game of his life, his last time starting on the road. That was against the Phillies when he beat Philadelphia 1-0. He beat his good buddy Doc Halladay. The game of his life, and another big game here tonight.
For the Edge, going back to St. Louis. Ian Kinsler first up, 5 out of 14 in this World Series. He's been hot since the 3rd week of September. It's carried into the postseason. Fastball rides up, ball 1. Carpenter the winner in Game 1 of the World Series. 3-2 St. Louis win. That makes it 2-0.
Joe, in Game 1 with the first batter Ian Kinsler, we talked about how he's a pull hitter, and David Freese was playing in front of the bag at third. He's back now.
That's ball 3.
Kinsler led off that first game with a base hit down the left field line. He was erased on the double play, but Freese properly is playing him back.
There are the numbers for Carpenter from Game 1. 3-1. Carpenter was upset he didn't get that 2-0 pitch. And now Kinsler can look to hammer something, a guy who tied for 5th in the AL with 32 home runs during the regular season. Full count. And a pop-up as Carpenter battles back from a 3-0 count. Pujols has out number 1. That'll give us a chance to give you the defense for St. Louis. And it's Matt Holliday in left. Schumacher gets his first start in center with a struggling John Jay on the bench. Alan Craig in right. Freese for Cal, Punto, and Pujols. With Yadier Molina catching Chris Carpenter. And here's Elvis Andrews. Earlier in the year we did a game and talked to Carpenter about Molina, and he said he's like a great left tackle in the NFL. He's got my blind side. I don't worry about anything. As for Cowell to his left, gets out number 2. And so with 2 out, nobody on, Hamilton will bat, and we'll look at these great numbers for Chris Carpenter. 8 career wins during the postseason, a franchise record. Cardinals are 11-2 in his last 13 starts, and he has yet to lose at home in his career in the postseason. His numbers this postseason very good, and strike 1 at 94 to Josh Hamilton.
Chris Carpenter has not thrown his curveball yet. He reserves that curveball for left-handed batters, and the Rangers have 3 in their order. That was it there.
It floated up and away, ball 1.
I thought Hamilton got better swings last night, turned on the ball a little better, which could mean something very important in that 3 spot in this Texas lineup.
He does have that left groin taped and support down there, but clearly last night swinging the bat better, driving in the first run of the ball game.
Hooking it down into the right field corner. 3-1. There will be a major weather change when this series goes to St. Louis for Wednesday night. It may rain and it will be cold. 3-1. A 2-out walk and the first base runner of the night. And it brings in Michael Young. The numbers for the postseason don't tell the accurate story right now. First 7 games, Young hit 111, no RBIs. Last 7, he's hit 290 with 2 homers, 10 driven in. 1 on, 2 out. Good pitch from Carpenter, strike 1.
Good breaking ball, and Michael Young anticipating fastball like Mike Napoli last night. There's that slider. So it's a slider to the right-handers Carpenter will throw, and a curveball to the left-handers.
On the corner, a wide strike, and it's 0-2.
The good pitchers tease this area early and hopeful that the home plate umpire gives them that pitch. That ball just off the plate. Ted Barrett, a wide strike zone thus far.
So why not go back out there?
Sure. 3 in a row, sliders.
There were questions about Carpenter's right elbow going into game 1. He put those questions to rest on a cold night with the way he worked through 6. Pujols was right there, holding against Hamilton, and we are scoreless through 1 of game 5. The 2 aces hooking up tonight. C.J. Wilson, Chris Carpenter. 1 base runner so far. St. Louis went in order in the first, so C.J. Wilson deals with 4, 5, and 6 in the second. Holiday, Berkman, David Freese. Series even at 2-2. .91-mile-per-hour fastball, as opposed to C.J. Wilson used to throw when he was a closer, according to that guy. Lance Berkman, 94-95. We faced C.J. in the days during interleague play, and Berkman was with Houston. Wilson had 24 saves in 08, 14 in 09, and last year 15-game winner. This year a 16-game winner. 2-0. 3-0. Mike Maddox is pitching coach. Pujols was swinging on 3-0 last inning. We'll see what Holiday does leading off. He's taking. It's 3-1. See what he did during the regular season, which caught the attention of Berkman. He said having an ERA under 3 in this park is saying a lot. A leadoff walk.
Exceptional. In 223 innings, earned run average in the American League, where you don't face the pitcher.
Take a look at tonight's Chase Freedom Cashback players to watch. We look at the Cardinals offense, what they did in game 3, what they did last night in game 2. Because of the presence of Derek Holland, and the only 2 hits belong to Lance Berkman, who stands in. Don't get shortchanged. Get your cash back with Chase Freedom. Strike 1.
Lance Berkman telling us before the game that he could not remember since Little League ball where he got the only hits in the game. He had 2, the rest of the lineup 0 for 25.
Here's an 0-1. Good pitch down and in, strike 2.
That's vintage Wilson right there. The disappearing cutter under the bat of Berkman.
Ball 1, and Berkman didn't look too anxious to get his leg out of the way of that pitch that barely missed his shin. 1-2 with Freese on deck. Two and 2.
Wilson does not have a good move to first base. 24 stolen bases against him this year. That's the most ever by a Texas left-handed pitcher.
Here's a 2-2. Pop foul backing out of play. A funny moment there. I don't know if you caught it. Holiday got back on that throw over, and Moreland had caught the ball. Holiday was on the bag, and Dave McKay, the first base coach, yelled back. Holiday's got such a small lead, and he read the move so easily. He's like, well, I'll do my job anyway, even though the play's over.
First base coaches, really their only responsibility is work the clock, say watch the line drive, and back. That's it.
Here's a 2-2. Skips in, and Holiday takes off. Makes it into second with nobody out.
Well, that is terrific base running by Matt Holliday, who went on first move. The minute that ball was in the dirt, Holiday went off the glove of Mike Napoli. Mike did what he could to pivot and throw, and Holiday's in there. If you don't go on first movement there, you don't make it.
Boy, Napoli did a good job.
Holiday did a better one.
Ball popped out anyway, and now a runner at second, nobody out. Cardinals don't have a steal in this series, trying to get aggressive on the bases, and Holiday made it. Now that gives the RBI chance to Berkman, who's driven home 8 this postseason. Berkman was set up at 0-2, and C.J. Wilson lost him. Back-to-back walks, 2 on, nobody out for David Freese. And that's really got to get Ron Washington thinking about what kind of a start he's going to get out of C.J. Wilson tonight. To lose Berkman after an 0-2 count, throw a wild pitch and walk him. That's not very good.
Yeah, nobody out with 2 on. That's a lot different than 2 on and 1 or 2 out, of course, with clutch hitters coming up in David Freese and Yadi Molina.
Freese had his 13-game hitting streak during this postseason snapped last night. But he's been the big RBI man for the Cardinals this postseason. Flies this one into right. Nelson Cruz will come to get it, 1 out. He's got a great arm, and the runners hold at first and second.
Yeah, the Cardinals were watching as you look at that missile that Cruz throws. The Cardinals were watching Game 4 of the American League Championship season, the tie game in the 8th inning. Huge play in that series when Nelson Cruz threw out Miguel Cabrera at home plate.
And then for good measure in the 11th inning popped another 3-run home run.
In the ALCS, we mentioned this the other day. Nelson Cruz had 7 RBIs in the 11th inning alone.
Here's Molina, 2 on, 1 out. That drops in for strike 1. Molina 7 RBIs this postseason, had 4 of them in Game 3. We feel compelled to talk about it because you can hear it. That's the voice of Dave McKay yelling to Berkman in this case about his lead. Strike 2.
And Dave McKay was with Tony La Russa when he was in Oakland, as was Dave Duncan, Tony's pitching coach.
Wasted pitch up, ball 1.
The nemesis of the Cardinals during this regular season, the double play in situations like this. 169 double plays grounded into by St. Louis. That set a new National League record.
Left side base hit. Holiday will come to the plate. Murphy kicks it in left. Both runners advance, and now Molina goes back to first as Murphy dropped it twice. Molina started, stopped halfway, and came scrambling back, and the Cardinals lead 1-0 on an RBI hit by Yadier Molina.
Good base running by Lance Berkman. Not so good base running by Yadier Molina, because you can take a wide turn at first base regardless of your speed, knowing that no left fielder is going to throw you out. Matt Holliday scores easily. Berkman with a wide turn. He gets to third. Yadier Molina did take that wide turn, but elected not to go.
It's an error on David Cruz, or rather David Murphy, as Schumacher fouls it away, and now that is 9 errors in 14 games this postseason for the Rangers. And Murphy just could not find the handle. 1 out in the inning, runners on the corners, and the batter is Schumacher, his first start in this World Series, the 0-1. Good pitch from Wilson, strike 2. Dropped down a little bit and fired that fastball high, ball 1.
He dropped down to make the second pitch. All pitches are not, all of them aren't designed to get you out. They're designed to set you up. Wilson will go back with that slider to Schumacher.
He lays off. Schumacher is getting the start, and that puts John Jay on the bench.
After dropping down, he goes back to the slider way outside.
Jay is just 2 for 30 over his last 8 games and hitless during left-handers during this postseason. So it's Schumacher tonight. The 2-2. Right side dropped by Moreland, and in to score is Berkman to make it 2-0. Down to second is Molina, and the Cardinals add another run.
Lance Berkman went to third base on the error by David Murphy, and now he comes home on a ball dropped by Mitch Moreland. Unsteady hands for the Rangers here in the second inning. Moreland, normally a very steady glove man, but had he made that catch, he goes home to the tag, but after dropping it, his only play is to tag first.
And it's 2-0 with a runner at second, 2 out for Nick Punto. Ball 1 up and in. That's taken the crowd right out of it. Murphy with an error out and left. No error is charged to Moreland. He got the out, but had designs on getting Berkman at the plate. Taking his eye off it because of that. And the count now 1-1 on Nick Punto.
Yeah, sometimes you try to catch it, or you try to throw it before you catch it. Had he come up with it cleanly, he has Berkman easily at home plate.
Here's a 1-1. Nicely played by Napoli, ball 2.
Berkman running to stay out of the double play, and no double play attempt as Moreland is forced to just tag first.
Now Punto with a count in his favor. 3 for 8 in this series. No RBIs. That's a strike, 2 even at a 2. Still 2-2. Right side of this Rangers infield defense has hurt him in 2 of the 3 games played here in Arlington. Napoli made a throwing error in game 3. Kinsler made a wide throw that started that mess. And a 4-run 4th. Here's a 2-2. Inside, a full count.
Also, Joe, no error was given to Ian Kinsler on that ball hit by Holiday in that 4-run 4th inning in game 3. It was a high throw, and the first base umpire missed the call. Ron Copley, he's admitted that, but that led to 4 runs.
Punto spoils the pitch. Crowd is pleading with C.J. Wilson to end the top of the second right here. Punto steps out.
Not like Derek Holland was pleading with Ron Washington last night to stay in the game.
And we're going to talk to Derek Holland from inside the dugout in the top of the 3rd. Punto into left field. This ball is caught. Diving catch by Murphy. And an inning that featured a couple of defensive miscues by Texas ends with this to save a run. Take a hit away from Punto and keep it 2-0 St. Louis. Carpenter back to the hill, and we give you the Nikon 1 replay cam. And David Murphy with that diving catch to frustrate Nick Punto. Take a run off the board. And look at that concentration, and then a little, I don't know, I guess just a moment to kind of exhale after that catch. That was beautiful.
Good catch after the error. Nick Punto, on the other hand, carried his bat past first base. You rarely see that.
And then thought about trying to break it over his knee.
He did.
Wisely thought better. Save that for guys like Bo Jackson and the bigger guys.
Even though Niger Morgan did it for Milwaukee this year. There, little guys should not try this.
He's on a great roll playing second base for Tony La Russa and doesn't want to mess that up. That big bending breaking ball is called strike 2, and Adrian Beltre can't believe it.
I think Adrian thought it went around. It was closer than I thought initially.
Me too. Reaching for it, and for Call, gathers it, throws it, 1 out. And with that, we will remind you the World Series on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. It'll bring in Nelson Cruz. It was hit 7 home runs within this one postseason. The record is 8 in a single postseason. And again, we always have to give the disclaimer now with more rounds to hit them, not just World Series. As it was prior to 1969 and now the NLCS, so you get more games. The record 8 by Bonds in 02 and Carlos Beltran, a lot of it against the Cardinals in 04.
While playing for the Houston Astros.
Counts 2-1 on Nelson Cruz. 12 hits this postseason, 7 of them home runs, 2 of them doubles, 3 singles. Into left center field. Schumacher came in, goes back. 2 out. We had a great meeting with Lance Berkman tonight prior to the game, and for what he told us about Chris Carpenter, here's our buddy Ken Rosenthal.
Yeah, Joe, we asked Lance Berkman what it's like to play behind Carpenter, and he said the difference is this. In Game 3 with the 5-0 lead behind Kyle Loesch, no disrespect to Loesch, Berkman said, but we never felt comfortable. On the other hand, with Carpenter, Game 5 of the division series against Roy Halladay, a 1-0 lead, Lance Berkman thought the entire time the Cardinals were going to win.
Kenny thanks. He's retired the first 2 in the second after he got 2 runs in the top half, and he misses outside to David Murphy. Murph is hitless in this World Series. That's in at the knees. And this is a guy who hit .391 during the division series in the LCS and had a good month of September during the regular season. Ball 2. How about that? The first player to attend Baylor and start a World Series game since 1923, Mule Watson.
Mule.
Could he hit the slider, Tim?
He was a horse.
We go to the 3rd inning. Here in Game 5, and the Cardinals will have the top of the order up by 2. The World Series is sponsored by the revolutionary new Nikon One system, huge in every way except size. And by Sherlock Holmes, a game of shadows in theaters, December 16th. Glad you're with us tonight on Fox. Game 5 of what has been a thrilling World Series. 2-0 Cardinals on top. 3rd inning, top of the order, and for Call, who lined out to 3rd his first time up, shows bunt, takes a ball. Derek Holland became a star last night. He joins us from the corner of the dugout on the Texas Rangers side. How was last night for you after you left the park, Derek Holland?
It was amazing. My family was enjoying everything. It was pretty emotional for them, but the main thing is you just went back. I couldn't fall asleep, that's for sure. That was probably the hardest thing to do, was to go to sleep.
Didn't you have dinner with your mom and dad after the game?
No, everything was closed at that time. We just actually ordered pizza.
Here is a bunt, and safe as that gets away. Furcal is going to try and go to second, and that ball cannot find the hand or glove of Moreland. Rattles around along the billboard and then the area where the photographers are, and he just couldn't find the handle. Runner at second, nobody out.
Derek, it looked like CJ slipped there, and by the time He got his balance. He had to backhand Jay Wilson.
Yeah, it looked like that was a tough play to make right there.
It's a base hit and an error on C.J. Wilson. Runner at second. Nobody out. As you look at the beginning of the play, and for Collins up at second. Did I read where you were playing video games last night at about 2 in the morning because you couldn't go to sleep, Derek?
It was actually later than that. It was around, I'd say 6:30. I fell asleep probably around 2:30, maybe 3, and finally. And then my dog actually came and woke me up around 6:30, and I was up from there.
Here's a bunt. Wilson lobs it to first, and Alan Craig, who homered here 2 nights ago, gets the runner for count of third. 1 out. What was working so well last night, and what was that meeting you had with your manager Ron Washington before you headed out to go to work last night?
To me, I think everything was working. Definitely used my curveball a lot. I thought that was probably one of my best pitches for the night, was using the curveball. But Wash's meeting before was just talking. You know, he knows how my approach is. I'm going to go inside on these guys, and he just didn't want me to hit anybody, so it didn't look bad. And he just kind of motivated me a little bit.
Well, here's an intentional walk to Albert Pujols. You figured this guy out last night. You had Pujols 0 for 4.
I wouldn't say I figured it out. This guy's an unbelievable hitter. It's just I'm just glad I got him out of his game. That's for sure.
Derek, when Wash was out on the mound with you in the 9th inning, why did he say get on your knees?
He didn't even say that. No, he's just trying to make it look like more than what it was. I did beg, you know. I was trying to stay out there. There's no doubt. But he gave me that nice little, oh, you ain't going in there. You done, son. You did all you think you could do. That's all you need to worry about. Now get back out there and enjoy that crowd.
Now, hey, since you did that, I want to hear a little Harry Carey, and then we'll let you go.
All right, I'll get you guys after and during this at bat here in a little bit. We're gonna
really.
We'll keep going with this.
You're kind of like a nutty left-hander, aren't you?
I'm one of those crazy lefties. Special
left-hander.
That's the word I was looking for.
Matt Holliday, first and third, 1 out. For Call at third, Pujols at first, 1 out. Ball 1 up and in. Jump in anytime you want, Derek.
I'll just take it from here.
Okay.
And we got C.J. Wilson standing out here thinking about what he's going to throw. We got Mike Napoli giving the signals here. They're just waiting. Here comes the delivery. And a swing and a miss. That one's back to the L screen. We're going to have to get him the ball here. What a throwback from the umpire. Oh, wait, that was catcher Mike Napoli.
You're unbelievable. That was great.
Hey, I got to hear Dempster do it. That's been the talk. I got to listen to him.
You guys could battle.
He's got a good one.
First and third, 1 out. Here is a 1-1. You don't mind if I jump back in, Derek? Is that okay?
I think you could take it from here. This is this is your job.
Yeah. Well, you weren't scared the other day before your LCS start when you did all those goofy looks into the camera.
That's just me being me. You know, I got to have fun. I know when to be serious, though.
Here's a 1-1. Down and in, 2 balls and a strike. Well, I know I was going to say you having any fun throughout this postseason. I know you had your best start last night, but I kind of feel like you're having fun no matter what's going on.
Well, I do, but I think the big thing is, you know, my teammates keep me grounded, and plus, you know, I work real hard. I don't want people to think that this is just me being goofy all the time, because I focus when I need to focus.
Here is a 2-1 pitch to Holliday, and Wilson blew it by him 92 miles per hour to make it 2-2. Backing out of play.
That would have been a good thing for Arnold right there.
Yeah, I know you do an Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I did that. The one guy that I really did that around a lot is Colby Lewis. He tries to imitate it back to me. We got to get you guys to hear him do that. That'll get you going.
We're in for all this stuff. Whatever you're willing to do, we'll listen. 2 balls, 2 strikes, first and third, 1 out. High and tight to make it full with Berkman on deck. Cardinals leading 2-0 and a chance for more. Thanks to a bunt, an error, a bunt, And then an intentional walk to Albert Pujols.
And the question here is whether Pujols will be running with the count 3-2. We'll see.
He's not. Holiday fouls it out of play off to the right. All right, I'm going to let you stop for a moment, but when the inning is over, depending on what happens, if it feels right, I'm going to go back to you, and you can take us to break as either Harry or Arnold. Is that good?
That's fine. I don't know what I'm going to say, but
you'll figure it out.
I'll think of something.
Okay.
I'll just keep the headset on.
You got 8 seconds. That's what you should know.
I got you.
Here is a 3-2 again to Holiday. Foul back, and a good battle between these two. Cardinals trying to add to their lead. Were you surprised that they were bunting with Alan Craig?
Not with Furcal on at second base. If he were on at first, I'd be surprised, but not second to move to third.
And not with Carpenter pitching.
No.
3-2. Left side. Can they turn 2? Out at second. Got them both. Go ahead, Derek Collin. Take us to break.
Texas Rangers come out with a nice double play to end the inning. You're watching Fox World Series baseball.
What's the score?
It's 2-0.
Wow. Thanks, Derek. 2-0. Cardinals after 2.5. Celebrate America's game with Chevrolet. Upload a picture of your youth player and you could win hundreds of MLB prizes. Be a part of the Chevy Centennial celebration and enter for a chance to win at ChevyBaseball.com. What a big double play turned by the Rangers in the top of this third. Breaking ball drops in for a strike to Napoli, who went deep last night. He has 2 homers, 7 RBIs. If you look at his career numbers against Carpenter, 2 homers, 7 RBIs in this World Series. Good curveball. While the rest of the team has 2 homers and 8 RBIs. So he's been a one-man gang down there, and he's been at the back end of the lineup, hitting 8th. Ball 1.
Nicknamed Dirtbag by his manager, Ron Washington. That is a very affectionate name in baseball.
Napoli chased it. Carpenter gets strikeout number 1. And the first out here in the third.
I don't know if that would work in corporate America, dirtbag, but in baseball, if you're a catcher, that's a compliment.
End up in the HR department answering questions. Here's Moreland. 2 errors and a misplay defensively for Texas as a team so far. 1 by Murphy and 1 by Moreland. And then the misplay was on a ball hit to him with Berkman at third that he dropped. Maybe looking up to try and cut down the runner, and that made it 2-0 back in the second. 2-0.
Mitch has not shown it during the postseason, but he has some pop. 16 home runs during the season.
One of the fun guys to watch during batting practice with shots like that. Wow, 2-1. Moreland just got that run back.
A 2-0 cookie.
That was launched over halfway up the upper deck. Now Kinsler takes ball 1. Kinsler's jammed. for Kyle, out to grab it. 2 out. And Kinsler has popped up twice. Cardinals in the top of this inning got that runner at second, nobody out, thanks to a bunt base hit, then an error by C.J. Wilson. Sacrifice bunt by Alan Craig. Intentional walk to Pujols. A good battle with Holiday, and he ended up hitting a smash to third into a 5-4-3 double play.
We talked about it in the second inning, that season-long bugaboo, 169 double plays, setting a Cardinal record this season.
Ball 1 up.
You can see Carpenter talking to himself, saying, "Get the ball down, will you?"
It's not down much from that first pitch, but it's a strike. 1-1. Going to be a tough play, going to be a base hit. Perfect spot found by Elvis Andrus.
Normally, that's not a good play. However, when most of your hits are singles anyway, it is a good play, particularly if you can run. And Andrus has shown that he will run. 37 steals during the regular season.
Here's Josh Hamilton. Freese saw Andrus square around the bunt, went to the line. Carpenter didn't make an attempt, thinking Freese had the best shot at it. Nobody got close. That's a floater into left for a base hit. Andrus will hold at second, 2 on, 2 out. And Hamilton on base for the second time tonight.
Josh, first ball hitting, as he often does. Looked like a slider that kind of hung up in the zone. Hamilton did not hit it well, but he found the spot.
This is where Carpenter usually is at his best. He's given up the home run. He's given up a bunt single and that one to left. And now we will have one of the game's best hitters taking on the Cardinal ace with the Rangers down a run. And that breaking ball just rolls up to the plate, ball 1.
Yeah, he has not thrown a lot of good breaking balls to right-handed batters in this ball game thus far.
Kyle makes the pickup on that last short hop and gets the out. But in the inning, the lead has been cut in half. Cut in half with an exclamation point. Off the bat of Moreland, 2-1 St. Louis. Another good one. It's game 5 after 3. They have great food at this ballpark in Arlington, Rangers Ballpark. The Big Game Backyard Dog. New for the World Series, half-pound hot dog with baked beans, barbecue sauce, and a pile of coleslaw, which they brought up here to the booth last night. They also brought the sausage sundae, which has got macaroni, split sausage, chopped beef brisket, and garlic mashed potatoes.
Cholesterol-free.
First up is Berkman, who walked and scored back in the second. Out in front of that pitch. Good changeup from Wilson, 1-1. Wilson got into trouble in the second by walking Holiday and Berkman. Also throwing a wild pitch in there to start the inning. He let Berkman off the hook after having him set up at 0-2. Two to 1, 4th inning. Good pitch, 2-2.
3. Got him looking one away. You can see Berkman say up and away to Ted Barrett on his way back to the dugout.
First strikeout for Wilson. Berkman thinking that cutter, that's an outside cutter. Thought it was outside and high maybe. It was close.
Now David Freese takes strike 1. Fly to right with 2 on and nobody out in the second. 0 for his last 4, and he gets a sniff of that baseball. 1-1. Wilson stays in there, strike 2.
After the fastball inside, the slider down and in.
And Freese fouled that off left foot, ankle, leg, and the count remains 1-2.
And that hurts David more than it does normal hitters. He has had operations on both ankles, right off the instep of the left foot. Also broke his hand this year. He has some screws on top of his left hand. Unprotected. Go ahead, Joe. Excuse me.
I was going to say under that black padding he wears on his left glove. Fouls it away. One out in the inning. Molina next. Inside, 2-2. Rangers have to be happy watching C.J. Wilson work inside to these right-handed batters.
Learning what he already knew from Mike Maddox with Derek Holland last night.
Now he goes away and Freese fouls it back.
Once again, by working inside consistently, you open up the outside part of the plate. There's more cat and mouse outside and inside than there is up and down from major league pitchers to major league hitters.
Ball 3 skips in. That's foul. David Freese, who quit the game of baseball after his senior year, high school, Lafayette, went to Mizzou. Got back after it when he was a sophomore. 3-2. Into right. Right at Nelson Cruz. 2 out. The World Series is sponsored by the all-new Volkswagen Passat. That's Das Auto. And by Chase. Don't get shortchanged. Get your cash back with Chase Freedom. Freese hit it hard. He's out number 2, and here's Molina, who has an RBI base hit. Ball 1 low. Rangers in the bottom of this 4th will have Beltre, Cruz, and David Murphy. One ball, 1 strike.
back in, ball 2. Good pitch outside part at the knees. 2-2.
Again, the outside cutter. Ball starting outside off the plate, cutting in over the outside corner.
Molina pops it up. Shallow right. Long run, Kinsler. Nice catch. And we go to the bottom of the 4th with Beltre, Cruz, Murphy coming up after Kinsler did that. Carpenter back to the hill up 1. Tonight's Volkswagen Passat trivia question. The Cardinals have won 10 World Series titles. Which manager led them to their first? Strike 1 on Beltre. Adrian grounded out to short his first time up. Nelson, Cruz, and Murphy will follow. St. Louis up 2-1, bottom of the 4th. Good curveball there. Strike 2.
That was the best curveball he's thrown to a right-handed batter tonight.
On a knee, Beltre fouls it away.
You know, we have seen when Beltre played for the Boston Red Sox, we have seen him hit home runs and then go to his right knee. It's not that easy. Another one. That was last year.
In the hole for Kyle, has to show off his arm. What a cannon, 1 out. You're talking about Chris Carpenter. We mentioned that there were questions about a sore elbow going into game 1, and the weather was cold and windy that night in St. Louis. It's got to feel good for any pitcher at this time of the year, after pitching through cold, to come to Arlington or a warm weather ballpark and get a chance to get loose on a 73-degree night.
Like pitching in Southern California or Arizona in the outdoors.
1 out. Nelson Cruz is tied up.
Arizona in the spring or the fall, of course. It's rather hot in the desert during the summer.
The 0-1. Same spot, did not go this time, and the count 1 ball 1 strike. Cruz lined out to deep center his first time up. Murphy's made an error, but also made a diving catch to save a run. Carpenter led up on that pitch, 73, in the count 2-1. Outside corner, 2-2. Carpenter, who was injured and not a part of the rotation in 04. The Cardinals lost the World Series to the Red Sox. Part of a winner in 06. And he's got his second strikeout of the night as he gets Nelson Cruz here in the 4th. Prior to tonight's game, Matt Kemp of the Dodgers, representing the National League, and Jose Bautista of the Blue Jays, representing the AL, won the 2011 Hank Aaron Awards. Hank Aaron Award was initiated in '99 to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Hammer and Hank, breaking Babe Ruth's career home run record, given annually to the best overall hitter in each league. Batista led the majors in home runs this year with 43. Murphy takes a strike. At 103 RBIs, hit .302. Kemp, on a struggling Dodger team, led the NL with 39 home runs and led all of Major League Baseball with 126 RBIs. Hit .324. Breaking ball is tapped to the right side, and Punto feeds Pujols for the out. Hank not here tonight because he had knee replacement surgery. But Hammer and Hank had award in his honor. It's 2-1 after 4 in Game 5, and back after Arlington after a word from your local Fox station. Here is Skip Schumacher, 8-9-1 for the Cardinals, up 2-1 in Game 5, 5th inning now. And C.J. Wilson has settled in and made better pitches. The back-to-back walks got him in the second. Schumacher has an RBI groundout. And off we go in inning number 5. Schumacher fooled, missed it by a lot. Strike one. Schumacher, when Chris Carpenter had that 3-hit shutout, the 1-0 win in Game 5 in Philadelphia to win the NL Division Series. Had an RBI double. The game's only RBI, but that's when he strained his oblique. And he was not on the active roster for the NLCS against the Brewers.
Yeah, it was a costly RBI for the Cardinals.
There's one into center, and Schumacher, who will likely get a start in Game 6 as well against Colby Lewis, is on to start the 5th. John Jay's replacement will go down to Ken Rosenthal in the dugout area. Kenny?
Well, Joe, Tony La Russa said today in the interview room that John Jay was starting to pull his hair out. Schumacher learned he was in the lineup just today. La Russa gave him the news, and Skip said that's how it's been all 6 years he's been a Cardinal. That's his routine. You never know when you're going to play. You just get to the ballpark and ready. I asked about his oblique, and he said the same thing that every other player says this time of year. It's good enough.
Yeah, and Kenny, you know, and Tim, you know, for Schumacher, who was a lifelong outfielder, throws right, bats left. For him to come in and learn how to play second base, to get in the lineup and play it as well as he has, is a remarkable accomplishment.
Particularly that position that requires so much fluid footwork. Otherwise, you can tear up a knee in a second.
He's a free agent to be, and any manager wants a guy like Schumacher around. First of all, he's got a great attitude. His teammates love him. He's become a good hitter, and he can play anywhere.
He's an ideal Tony La Russa type player.
They've said that about the guy at the plate as well, Nick Punto. He takes low in the count, 2-0.
It's an interesting point that Ken made. You know, Joe, players in October hurt. All the other players that are major league players that didn't make the postseason healed.
And just a token throw over there as C.J. Wilson flipped it. As you mentioned, C.J. has a tough time slowing down the running game. And a quick pitch there, and the count's 3-0. Interesting, no sign of the bunt with Punto after that leadoff hit. And now Punto has the count in his favor, 3-0. He'll take one, maybe two strikes.
Maybe.
That's a big walk. And it's 2 on with nobody out. Back to the top of the lineup. And the guy who's gotten so many big outs for the Rangers in this postseason, Scott Feldman, starts to get loose.
Now the game slows down to meetings on the mound to give the guy in the bullpen, Scott Feldman in this particular case, time to warm up. Adrian Beltre, meanwhile, is talking to C.J. Wilson, and Elvis Andrus to find out what everybody is going to do on the bunt. See, Beltre, the captain of the infield, as far as giving the signs. Pitcher has to determine whether the third baseman's going to field the ball or not. For Call, keep in mind, an excellent bunter.
It's about as sure a bunt coming as you're going to ever see, and that's inside ball one. But the key for Wilson now is to make good pitches, throw strikes. He's missed with 5 in a row. Alan Craig and then Pujols, the next 2 hitters.
Call will try to bunt it down the third baseline to make Beltre field the ball.
Strike one. Call with a bunt base hit his last time up. He lined out, hit a scorcher to third his first time.
I don't think I've ever seen that. A pitcher get off the mound and look at the third baseman giving the signs. Normally pitchers are oblivious to signs like that.
And a good bunt. Nobody's at third. Beltre looked over there and gets the out at first.
I think he was expecting Elvis Andrus to be at third base, and Andrus was at second. I believe that was the rotation play. Watch Beltre when he fields the ball. The bunt was down the third baseline. Beltre looking at third. Nobody there. Has to go to first. I think Beltre had the sign, but Andrus didn't.
Now the infield has to come in with Alan Craig at the plate. Second and third, 1 out. Cardinals leading by 1, and that's inside ball 1. Craig during the regular season, and he played for a while with a sore knee, had a broken kneecap, drove home 40. Tried to launch that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Right now, C.J. Wilson is pitching to stay in the game here in the 5th.
Because if Alan Craig walks, there is no way Wilson stays in the game to pitch to Pujols with the bases loaded and 1 out.
That's why Feldman, the right-hander, is getting loose.
Right.
Craig on 1-1. Strike 2. Strikeout for C.J. Wilson. 2 out.
Now there's a place to put Pujols. Here are the pitchers leading up to that big strikeout. Inside again. Curveball. Curveball. To count 1 and 2, he gets his man. And now Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, very happy, and Pujols will be walked.
For the second consecutive time. And Alan Craig is 0 for his last 9. That's after that first inning home run here in game 3.
It's often said, Joe, that the big hitters in the lineup have to be protected. And rarely do people talk about the player hitting before the big hitter. There's a lot of pressure on a young hitter like Alan Craig hitting in front of Pujols, because pitchers are really going to endeavor to get them out. I mean, give them their best stuff. No mistakes. So there's a certain amount of pressure to guys who hit in front of the big hitters.
Here's Matt Holliday. Pressure is on him. Pressure is on C.J. Wilson. Holliday bounced into a double play with first and third, one out last time up. Bases loaded, 2 out. Strike one. Another one up. Holliday lays off, and it's 1-1. So the Rangers intentionally walked Pujols in the third. Holliday followed it with a double play ball. Now they intentionally walk Pujols in the fifth. It's up to Holliday again. The count 1-1. Strike two. A little too amped up on that 1-2 pitch, 2-2.
Spinning like a top on that right foot was C.J. Wilson.
Everything's been up. Kind of get the feeling that this crowd is having the effect on C.J. Wilson, getting him ramped up. And he can't get the ball down. Here you go. Bases loaded, 2 out, 3-2 the count. Elvis Andrus to first. Wilson out of trouble. A hit, 2 walks. A bunt mixed in halfway through game 5. Wilson just walked the tightrope, and it's still 2-1 St. Louis. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Thanks for making Chevrolet and baseball a part of America for the last 100 years. Major League Baseball is proud to support Habitat for Humanity. Visit www.habitat.org to learn how you can get involved today. The Napoli chant as he leads it off in the 5th. 2-1. St. Louis out in front. Strike one. Cardinals had a runner at second, nobody out in the third, didn't score, had first and second, nobody out in the top of this inning. Did not score. Strike two. As Carpenter's worked the inside part to Napoli, who hit a 3-run home run last night.
It's another way of stripping a hitter from his power. Pitch him in tight. Make him bring the hands in.
Breaking ball misses, ball one.
Ron Washington making that point to us again in his office today, Joe. It's about the 4th time in this postseason that Washington has talked about pitching guys inside.
Napoli pops it up. In comes Schumacher, and he'll take over and grab out number 1. While we get a moment, our Get to a Better State recap brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state.
Mike Napoli made that throwing error in game 3. Scratch of the head afterward, but boy, did he make up for it last night. First pitch, 3-run home run that just shot out of here off Mitchell Boggs to make it 4-0, and that's how it ended. They love him here in Texas. There's Mitch Moreland, who homered for the only run tonight for the Rangers. Slider for a strike. Only his 3rd hit of the postseason, now 3 for 24. Is that home run? 1-1. Game 6 will be a rematch of Jaime Garcia and Colby Lewis. They were both very good in game 2. On the corner, strike 2.
There's that curveball to the left-handed batter, and a left-hander will give up on it. Mitch Moreland thought it was outside, but the Cardinals got the call.
And now Moreland's in the hole. Pujols goes far to his right. So Punto grabs it, feeds Carpenter, 2 out.
Yeah, a second baseman will call a first baseman off a ball like that. They have a word sign. When the first baseman's away from the bag, it's an easier play for the second baseman. Pujols over, word sign, gets out of the way, and a 4-1 put out.
And now back to the top of the order, Ian Kinsler. He has 1 home run this postseason. He's popped up twice tonight.
Damn it!
Strike 1. Low pitch count for Carpenter, 65, which is exactly what the Cardinals want. They want him to be Mott's setup man tonight. They have other options, or the guys have been good, but Tony La Russa all year long has let Carpenter stay out on the mound longer than any other pitcher he has. Because of that, Carpenter's thrown a ton of innings. Strike 2.
Well, success will do that. It'll allow a manager to stick with the starting pitcher. And consequently, if you pitch deeper into the game, obviously your pitch count's going to go up.
He's thrown 265 total innings this season. And he makes this play, tries to, and can't pick it up. That'll be an error to keep this 5th inning alive. He had it, lost it.
Well, when you're 6'6", you have a tendency to overrun the ball. I think he did that. Now trying to get it with the glove hand. Trying to scoop it. Falls out of the glove. And now here's where the real error comes in right here. Trying to scoop it and drops it again.
So just to give you an idea, as I talk about workload for Carpenter, 36-year-old right-hander is 2nd in baseball to Verlander, who ended his year with 271 and a 3rd innings pitched. Carpenter's at 265. The top 2 guys in baseball. 1 on, 2 out. And this would be a place where the Rangers, if they can figure out how to do it, would want to run.
Kinsler found out how to do it in game 2. At Gutsy, nobody out steal of second base when the score was 1-0 in the top of the 9th inning by Texas.
Kinsler's 1 for 3 stealing against Yadier Molina.
Elvis Andrus takes a strike, and it's 1-1. So Carpenter makes the error. He has to deal with Andrus with Josh Hamilton on deck. 2 out. In the air to center, and Schumacher is there to end the inning. Hard hit on a line. Young and old having fun in Arlington. Rangers have left 4, trail by 1 after 5. We are in Texas, and it's been fun throughout this postseason. And some fun facts. The hamburger was created in this state. You could fit 220 Rhode Islands in this state. It's the state with the most airports in the United States, over 2,000. And we will be at one tonight. So will the Cardinals, so will the Rangers. Off day tomorrow, and then back at it on Wednesday in St. Louis for Game 6.
Sam Houston knew what he was doing.
Yes, yes he did. As Berkman takes a ball, pretty good pitch. We're in the 6th. St. Louis up 2-1 as they were after 3. There's a strike. Been a lot of action, but no runs since Moreland's blast in the 3rd. Cut the lead in half. It's Berkman, then Freese, then Molina. Oh, dangerous foul ball, strike 2. And C.J. Wilson, who survived the 5th, is back out for another inning. And Feldman is right there with him. 2 right-handed batters to follow. That is out number 1, and that strikeout starts the 6th. Berkman has struck out in consecutive at-bats, and we go back to the 4th inning when he was called out on strikes. And we give you sounds of the game.
It was a good pitch. I mean, it was right. I mean, right at the top, right on the corner. I mean, it was just.
I know you got a good eye, so
yeah. No, it was. I mean, but it was such a. I mean, it's just perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Tip your cap.
Yeah.
And I think that's after Berkman maybe went in and looked at a replay. He's the DH. He's got time.
Sure.
The pitch that got him back in the 4th, and now he strikes out to start the 6th. David Freese steps in.
You have 8 hitters to find out where the pitch was.
Berkman, who told La Russa, and Tony gave him the option of playing the outfield or DHing. He said, I'm used to DHing during interleague play, so let Alan Craig get into the flow of the game and play the outfield, as he's done in every game here in Texas. 2-1 on David Freese. 4 home runs this postseason. That's a base hit into left, and David Freese is on with 1 out here in the 6th. It'll bring in Yadier Molina.
You may remember when Yadier Molina drove in the first run and went to first base and went about halfway. There is no reason for a hitter who gets a single to left field to not take a wide turn at first base. The reason? No left fielder on a base hit to left field has thrown out a runner rounding first, throwing behind him in 5 years. 5 years. That's a good one.
It is a good one. You were excited to get that one.
Oh, I'm telling you, 5 years.
Feldman comes in, and while the Rangers switch pitchers, Tim Genio invites you to switch to Turkey. 1 on, 1 out in the 6th.
Along with our producer Pete Macheska and our director Bill Webb, we move into the bullpen, and the Rangers call on Scott Feldman, who's been so good this postseason. In just under 12 innings, 1 on, 1 out. And Yadier Molina is his first opponent. Feldman, who was born in Hawaii, lives in California. C.J. Wilson cannot get that first postseason win here tonight. He has 1 in his career. He's 0-3 during the postseason here in 2011. He won a division series game last year. 1 on, 1 out. Strike 1 on the outside corner to Molina. So who knows what the future holds for C.J. Wilson, a free agent to be at the end of the year. Depending on how long this series goes, he could be an option out of the bullpen where he used to pitch. For Ron Washington, Molina has his second hit. And it's 2 on with 1 out on a base hit by Yadier Molina with Schumacher coming up.
Boy, that breaking ball from Feldman just hung right in the middle of the plate. We've said it many times, when a catcher has to go from outside and move his mitt toward the middle of the plate, as you look at the breaking ball hole, you can see it's to the left of Napoli, and that usually spells trouble for a pitcher, and it did then.
Well, the Cardinals have stranded 5. They've hit into a double play. Rangers have stranded 4. St. Louis up by a run in the 6th, and the batter is Schumacher. He had a base hit last inning. Now he faces the right-hander to the right side, and that will be out number 2 with the runners advancing to second and third. Nick Punto coming up. Schumacher shaking his head, going back to the dugout. It's up to Punto, who does not have an RBI in this World Series. La Russa's group has had their chances, 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Mike Adams is starting to do his loosening exercises. The Rangers are into their bullpen. Here's Punto, second and third, 2 out. Ball 1 down and in.
Anytime first base is open with runners on at second and third, I think baseball fans nowadays are inclined to think they're going to pitch around the hitter. No thoughts of that whatsoever right now. It's Feldman versus Punto. No thought of pitching around him.
Inside 2-0. It's what he's done with runners in scoring position this season. He got the nod tonight with Terrio starting on the bench. He could come up with a big hit for St. Louis here in the 6th. Good pitch on 2-0.
It's the breaking ball over in a fastball count.
Freeze with a 1-out hit, chased C.J. Wilson. And Molina got a hit. Now with 2 outs, strike 2. 2-2 on Nick Punto. Punto fouls it back. Now Napoli goes out to talk with his counterpart Yadier Molina out at second base. Runners at second and third for St. Louis, 2 out. Game 6, we know there will be one on Wednesday night. On the air at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Series even at 2 games apiece. Good tight game 5. Puto strikes out, and Feldman gets out of the jam. Cardinals have now left 7 and lead by 1 after 5.5. Part of the order for the Rangers, down by 1 as we start the bottom of the 6th. The Cardinals have had one opportunity after another. And Carpenter has had to battle. Now he deals with Hamilton, who's been on base twice. He has walked, he has singled. Michael Young next, and then Adrian Beltre. Curveball drops in for a strike, and it's 0-2. Big strike zone tonight from Ted Barrett.
Got to really wait on that breaking ball outside the left-handed batters.
Pujols gets the high hop and goes to the bag. 1 out.
It's painful to watch Josh Hamilton swing, and knowing that he's hitting off that front foot. Again, that just strips him of his power with that groin pull.
Here's Michael Young, who's grounded out twice. He did so his last time with 2 on and 2 out. That's the one at bat the Rangers have had with runners in scoring position, and Young grounded out. Big swing by Young, strike 1.
I don't think I've seen Carpenter throw that curveball as much as he has tonight. He is really dependent on that pitch to both right-handers and left-handers.
Cardinals 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position tonight with the bats. Rangers 0 for 1. Ball and a strike. It's Joe Patini, the bench coach for Tony La Russa. Off the end of the bat, and Carpenter has kept these Ranger hitters off balance all night. The Geico in-game box score for the Rangers, only 3 hits. 1 for Elvis Andrus, who's hit the ball hard a couple of times. A single for Josh Hamilton, and that blast of a home run into right midway up the upper deck by Mitch Moreland in the 3rd made it 2-1, and it's still 2-1. Here's a 1-2. Strikeout number 3, and he blew a 94-mile-per-hour fastball by Michael Young, 2 out.
After throwing Young 2 breaking balls on the first 2 pitches. That's a 2-seam fastball riding in on the right-handed hitter.
Bases are empty for Adrian Beltre. Cardinals in the 7th will have the top of the order. Rangers having the heart of their order to the plate here. Strike 1 to Beltre. Breaking ball is hammered deep into left, and game 5 is tied.
We talked about being on his knee for some curveballs. Tie game.
Now Cruz takes the ball down and away. Strike one.
Ron Washington kidding at the press conference last night, saying that he told Derek Holland to get on his knees if he wanted to stay in the game. Well, he didn't have to tell Adrian Beltre that.
Here's a 1-1, strike two. And that foul tip caught a lot of Yadier Molina. So 2 home runs for the Rangers. Moreland and Beltre, and it's a 2-2 game.
I think Beltre only does that on breaking balls as he kind of follows that pitch going down, down, down.
Base hit up the middle. Fastball from Carpenter and Nelson Cruz. Knocked it right back into center.
Watch him follow the breaking ball down.
Now the go-ahead run is on with 2 out. And Adrian Beltre, who hates to have his head touched, had Elvis Andrus take his helmet off from behind him, and then everybody started touching the third baseman for the Rangers. He said you can only do it after a home run, but otherwise stay out of my hair.
Literally.
Murphy at the plate 0 for 2. To Murphy. Alexi Ogando getting loose. Here's a 1-0. Base hit into right center. Cruz will turn and go. First and third, 2 out.
The home run and then 2 singles up the middle. One by Cruz, the other by Murphy, with Cruz going to third.
Napoli will be the hitter. He has struck out, flied out. Carpenter's made some good pitches to Napoli tonight. He did back in his first at bat. And he gets a visit from Dave Duncan trying to slow it down. A 2-out rally, a homer, 2 singles. So all this with the first 2 retired. And Octavio Dotel gets loose here in the 6th. Ted Barrett goes out to break up the meeting. It'll be Carpenter against Napoli. Only 2 catchers in World Series history have hit 3 or more home runs in a series. Gene Tennis, Oakland Athletic, and Yogi Berra. Napoli has 2. Strike one.
Even the count to Napoli. That was Arthur Rhodes up and throwing the left-hander. Tony La Russa giving himself the option. Should Carpenter walk Napoli, you could bring in Arthur Rhodes to pitch to one batter, a left-hander.
In the air to center. Back is Schumacher on the track to end the inning. Over 400 feet away. And Schumacher had a long way to go. And the guy who delivered the pitch celebrates. 2-2 after 6. Back after this from your local Fox station. Here's Alexi Ogando taking over in the 7th. He was so good in the postseason the first 2 rounds. The Cardinals have knocked him around so far in this World Series. And he will deal with the top of the lineup for Kyle, Alan Craig, and Albert Pujols in a tie game in the 7th. Kyle has a hit tonight, also a sacrifice. Breaking ball is in for strike one. C.J. Wilson is off the hook. Strike 2. And for Kyle has yet to see the good Alexi Ogando fastball. One out. Sherlock Holmes 2 game summary. Missed chances for the Cardinals to add on to a lead. The double play hit into by Holiday. Then he grounded out with the bases loaded in the 5th. Punto struck out with 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. And then Beltre down on a knee hit a breaking ball out to tie it last half inning. Here's that matchup again of Alan Craig and Alexi Ogando. Slider missed for ball 1. Craig struck out his last time up. Now he fouls it, and that will get out of play. Alan Craig struck out. It was 2nd and 3rd, 1 out in the 5th. Here's the rest of the game summary. Molina and Schumacher RBIs in the 2nd. The Rangers have 2 home runs. Carpenter is still in the game at the moment. The Cardinals, that bottom line is something they'll be thinking about a lot if they don't win game 5. 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position tonight. The 1-1. Good slider, strike 2.
Alan Craig has not seen a fastball since his 2nd pinch hitting appearance of game 2. 3 straight sliders to Allen in this at bat. That fastball missed.
And it's 2-2. On deck is Pujols, who the last time he faced Alexi Ogando hit a mammoth home run. Ball 3. So up high with a fastball, the slider misses, full count. A 1-out walk. 1 on, 1 out with Pujols walking in last time he faced Ogando. 96-mile-per-hour pitch at the upper reaches of the strike zone. And he hit a 423-foot home run.
thing you can't do as a middle reliever in a tight ball game, or a starter for that matter, is go away from your best pitch. Ogando's best pitch is his fastball. Just didn't locate it well to Pujols.
Strike one on a slider. Two in the seventh. Go ahead run at first, one out. There goes Craig. Pitches high, throw down for the out. 2 out.
Now you have to be more sure with Albert Pujols when you try to steal second base than anybody in baseball, in my opinion. I mean, for the most part, when you're at first base, you're in scoring position with Pujols up there. No need to try to get to second. They're going to walk him anyway. And now with 2 out and nobody on, the walk. Something happened.
You see Alan Craig talking to Tony La Russa in the dugout.
Allen stole 5 bases without being caught during the season. But running in front of Pujols is a no-no unless you're absolutely sure. And even in those circumstances, why run? Because again, you're in scoring position at first base.
Third consecutive intentional walk to Pujols. And Matt Holliday, who has missed opportunities. First and third, 1 out, hit into a double play in the third. Bases loaded in the fifth. 2 out, he grounded out. After an intentional walk to Pujols, Holliday during this postseason is 0 for 6. He has another chance here. Ball 1. That will be an early question for Tony La Russa after this game, the Alan Craig attempted steal.
You know, guys from first base do have the option with aggressive managers, and some managers will give a third base coach a no steal. In other words, under no circumstances do you try to steal. But something happened that was askew when Alan Craig ran.
There's a strike, a 2-0 slider from Ogando. There's a conversation in the dugout as Holliday takes ball 3. Dangerous switch hitter and Lance Berkman on deck. And a dangerous hitter at the plate with a count in his favor, Matt Holliday. 1 on, 2 out, and a check on Pujols, who gets back.
Never has a caught stealing caused such questions in recent memory of World Series play.
3-1. Full count. Pujols will take off. Holliday, a good rip.
Lowe and Darren Oliver, but all eyes are on Ogando and Holiday. Runner goes. And a line drive is a hit into left center. Pujols will dig for third. They will bring him to the plate and now hold late. Pujols stops halfway down and gets back to the bag.
And what that did was allow Matt Holliday to go to second base. Pujols running on the play. The single is up the middle toward left center. Josh Hamilton realizing he had to get rid of the ball in a hurry. Pujols finds the ball, and now Jose Oquendo brings him around the bag and holds him up. I'm not sure Pujols ever saw Oquendo. He is an excellent base runner, but I've got to say that from second to third, you have no reason to look at the fielder. It slows you down. Pujols did that. He didn't pick up Oquendo, but he stops in time. See, turning around, all of that, I mean, your third base coach is there for a reason. Pujols going 3 or 4 feet up, now he's talking to Oquendo about it. But that look from second to third, when you look out at the outfield, that slows you down. Pay attention to your signal cop right in front of you.
Second and third with 2 out. Berkman at the plate. We'll see if the Rangers want to pitch to him, and they won't. It's going to be up to David Freese.
That's the advantage of Matt Holliday taking second base. He really took 2 bases then, because he's on second, and now they have to pitch around Berkman.
One thing the Cardinals have done in this series the Tigers could not do is figure out Ogando. He was walked 2. This will be the 3rd of the inning, the 2nd intentional pass. A big caught stealing as Alan Craig was thrown out. And it's led to this. Bases loaded. 2 out. And David Freese coming up as Mike Maddox will jog out and talk to Ogando, and the numbers back it up even in the division series against Tampa Bay.
Joe, it's interesting to do the math. How many times have you ever seen the bases loaded with 3 hitters with 2 intentional walks? It's very rare. Obviously, with nobody on, Pujols was walked, then the base hit by Holliday, and now Berkman is walked.
It's up to David Freese, who is 1 for 3. David Freese 1 for 3. Flies it into center. Should end the inning. Hamilton is there. And the Cardinals have now stranded 10. Hit into a double play and lost Alan Craig trying to steal in this 7th. Ogando gets out of trouble. And this game remains 2-2 as we get to the 7th inning stretch. 1 hit in the inning, 3 walks. And in the bottom of the 7th, it'll be Moreland, Kinsler, and Andrews for the Rangers. Right now, we join public address announcer Chuck Morgan for the introduction of God Bless America.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please rise. On behalf of United States military families around the world, we invite you to join in singing God Bless America with Molly Corbett, wife of Air Force Technical Sergeant Charles Corbett.
God bless America, land that I love. stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Toyota and by Verizon, America's largest and most reliable wireless network. Aerial coverage of tonight's game is provided by DirecTV. What a game. 2-2 into the bottom of the 7th. Chris Carpenter is back to work. It'll be Moreland, Kinsler, and Elvis Andrus. Carpenter pitched around back-to-back hits after the home run by Beltre last inning. And if he's been watching his offense, he has seen one missed opportunity after another to score runs here tonight, as the Cardinals have stranded 10. Hit into a double play and lost a man stealing. A questionable bit of strategy by either Alan Craig on his own or Tony La Russa, or a missed sign. But as a result, a walk followed by a walk, a hit, another intentional walk, and no runs.
What a weird inning.
Here's an 0-2 to Moreland. Into center field. Schumacher makes the catch. Got a nice jump. 1 out. This December, 2 of the most storied conferences in college football culminate their seasons with 2 epic championship games for the first time in their history. And Fox Sports will bring them to you back-to-back nights. Pac-12 championship game Friday, December 2nd. Big Ten championship game Saturday, December 3rd. Both games are only on Fox. Here's Kinsler, 0 for 3. Ball 1. Strike 1. Ball 2.
Cardinals are in that no doubles defense. That's in a tie game from the 7th inning on. The outfielders are playing deeper than they normally would.
3 balls and a strike. Zepchinski getting loose as Kinsler takes a 1-out walk. Just the second walk issued by Carpenter tonight. And while Molina goes out to talk, Elvis Andrus digs in. Kinsler reached on an error in the 5th. Did not try to run. As we mentioned then, he is 1 for 3 in this World Series, trying to steal a base on Yadier Molina.
He takes that walking lead and tries to time the pitcher.
Strike 1 on Andrus.
The best percentage in the American League, as Kinsler had 30 stolen bases in 34 tries. He is an excellent base runner, the best on the Rangers.
That's what the Rangers have done as a team. The percentage is down from the regular season. That's strike 2 and a throw down. Kinsler gets back. We've seen Beltre hit a home run from his knees, and nobody throws better from his knees than Yadier Molina.
What he can do is unbelievable. From his left knee, a rocket to first. 39 pickoffs during the season in his career. That leads all of Major League Baseball by far.
Oh, 2. Andrus chased it, 2 out, and strikeout number 4.
Good slider way off the plate. Playing on the aggressiveness of Andrus. Ball's about 6 inches outside. Good pitch by Carpenter.
Right at 100, and now Carpenter deals with Josh Hamilton. He was not homered this postseason. Playing with a sore left groin, he's 1 for 2 tonight. Into center. Schumacher is there, and Carpenter has pitched through 7. Molina, Schumacher, Punto coming up. Images from Game 5, which is a beauty. 2-2 into the 8th. Alexi Ogando is back to work into the 8th inning. Yadier Molina is first up. Ogando walked 3, 2 intentionally. Last inning, allowed 1 hit, but then got David Freese with the bases loaded to end the threat. Oliver and Adams. Good fastball from Ogando, strike 2. Molina's had a nice night, 2 hits, and RBI. Ball 1 with Schumacher and then Punto. Bottom 3 in the lineup. Molina checks on Andrus from the hole. Safe. And Molina's got his 3rd hit of the night.
Andrus jumping. I think with Molina running, Elvis could have planted and thrown a strike. When he jumps, he throws the ball in the dirt. The in-between hop, Moreland couldn't come up with it.
And now Ron Washington is going to come out. He's got the lefty Oliver. The Cardinals have Terrio on their bench. Moreland couldn't dig out that throw, and that's going to be it for Ogando. So Ogando gives up the infield hit. Oliver's coming in out of the pen. Schumacher, the scheduled hitter. Strategy here in the 8th of a 2-2 game, Game 5. Once again, tonight's Volkswagen Passat trivia question. The Cardinals have won 10 World Series titles. Which manager led them to their first? The answer is Rogers Hornsby, who was in his first full season as the Cardinals manager. He was a player manager. He played second base at .317 with 91 RBIs. So that's the answer as we're in the 8th. Runner at first, nobody out. And Terrio will pinch hit for Schumacher.
in that World Series 1926. I'm not going to say you may remember, but the score was 3-2 in the bottom of the ninth when Babe Ruth drew a 2-out walk before his attempted steal of second, and his being thrown out at second base was the last play of the game as the Cardinals won their first World Championship.
There's a pitch inside to Terrio showing bunt, and there'll be a lot of conversation about Alan Craig out. It goes down as a caught stealing. But it looks to us in the booth, the more we look at the replay from what transpired in the seventh, that was a hit and run put on by either La Russa or the guy at the plate, Albert Pujols. Here is Terrio with a bunt, and that's good enough to get Molina down to second. Good job by Terrio, 1 out. We go back to last inning.
Here's the play. Watch Alan Craig, the runner at first base. You get the second shot. Watch him look back. When he looks at Albert Pujols, that always signifies a hit and run. Now, if it was put on by Tony La Russa wouldn't have stopped and asked Alan why you were running. So what you said makes all the sense in the world. There are some hitters that will put their own hit and run on. They have their own signs. Remember, Dick Groat used to do that in the early 60s with the Cardinals. It was an open palm. The right hand, open palm to first base, you were running.
Punto takes the ball inside. Yadier Molina does not run well. He's at second, the go-ahead run. 1 out in a tie game in the 8th. And Punto, who struck out with runners on at second and third in the 6th inning against the reliever Feldman on a breaking ball. Now fouls this one off his leg, and he's trying to make the pain go away with a 1-1 count. 1 for 14 tonight with runners in scoring position. Over the last 2 games, rather, are the Cardinals, and tonight they've stranded 10 and now have the go-ahead run at second. 1 out in the 8th, and Mike Adams is the one getting loose.
I know what some of you folks may be thinking. If it was a hit and run, why didn't Pujols swing the bat? Well, the ball was out of the strike zone. It was actually above his helmet. So there are some pitches that are made that you know you can't make contact with, so there's no sense in swinging, and Alan Craig was a dead duck at second.
Punto with a runner at second, fouls it back, strike 2. So piecing that video together, it's our opinion that Pujols put on the hit and run. And that strange play last inning in the 7th. We'll all find out after the game. The 1-2. Got him on the outside corner, 2 out.
So Nick Punto takes a cutter on the outside part of the plate, just there. Darren Oliver has been making pitches like that for 20 years in the major leagues.
Tony La Russa contemplated a lineup switch with Furcal going to the number 9 spot. He left Furcal in the leadoff position. Here he is. Strike 1 on a breaking ball. Furcal has a bunt hit in this game. No RBIs in this World Series. Left side in the hole. It's a beautiful play and throw by Elvis Andrus, and what a stretch by Mitch Moreland at first. What a game in Game 5. Bottom of the 8th inning rolls in, tied at 2.
The World Series is sponsored by Audi, Truth in Engineering, by Jenny O. Make the switch. Look for Jenny O Turkey at a store near you. And by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. Kurt Busch, star from NASCAR, is at the stadium tonight.
You know that guy.
The other guy I work with on weekends, Troy Aikman. NFL Hall of Famer, 3-time Super Bowl champ. And Chris Carpenter did really all he could. He was good through 7. Allowed 2 runs on 6 hits. John Jay is in the game, taking over in center, and Octavio Dotel deals to Young, who shoots the gap in right center field. Michael Young has got a leadoff double to start the 8th.
John Jay is in for defense, replacing Ryan Theriot. He's playing toward right center field, but Michael Young hit it so hard it didn't matter. Leadoff double here in the 8th by Michael Young.
And now Adrian Beltre will be the hitter. Yadier Molina walks out to talk to Dotel.
I think the odds are against a bunt in this situation. I mean, Beltre hit a homer his last time up. He has good power the other way. He can hit the ground ball the other way. I think the odds are better as you look at Mark Zepchinski warming. I think the odds are better to allow Beltre to hit away here.
Fastball, strike 1. Beltre's swing prior to that was the game-tying home run on a curveball from Carpenter back in the 6th. Time called at the plate.
Beltre thought this slider was high. May have had a point. Last sacrifice for Beltre, by the way, was back in 2006 when he played 3rd for the Seattle Mariners.
Go ahead run at second. Nobody out until now. High heat, 95-mile-per-hour fastball, 1 away. And a big strikeout for Dotel.
Well, 2 strikes sandwiched by a called strike. All 3 balls out of the strike zone.
Well, now you've got first base open. And a conversation about Nelson Cruz. The left-handed hitting David Murphy is the next batter, with a lefty Zepchinski getting loose. So we'll see if the Cardinals pitch to Nelson Cruz. The guy who has hit 7 home runs this postseason.
Well, if you bring in the left-hander, if you walk Cruz, bring in the left-hander to pitch to Murphy, you're going to be facing Craig Gentry.
And they're going to walk Cruz.
I think your odds are better to walk Cruz and pitch to the pinch hitter after bringing in Zepchinski.
All in an effort to get around a leadoff double hit by Michael Young. Really, all
3 of these intentional walk pitches have been just lobbed to the plate by Dotel. That could have been disaster. And this one, a guy who throws 95 is just lobbing it to the plate to put 2 on with 1 out. And that'll bring in Zepchinski. And we'll see if it's Murphy or Gentry or Torre Alba. All possibilities as the young left-hander Mark Zepchinski will enter here in the 8th of Game 5. This is World Series Game 5 with the series tied 2 games apiece. We're in the 8th inning. That's us. We're glad you're with us tonight on Fox. And here is our game summary. RBIs by Molina and Schumacher in the 2nd. 2 solo shots by the Rangers, Moreland and Adrian Beltre. The big story is the Cardinals have left 11 and they've gone 1 for 12. With runners in scoring position, Zepchinski will deal with the left-handed hitting. David Murphy.
A bit of a surprise here. David Murphy hitting against Zepchinski. However, Tony La Russa telling us before the game last night that he would not. Don't be surprised, he said, if I bring in Zepchinski to pitch to right-handed hitters. But against lefties, only .215 this year.
So no Craig Gentry, no Torre Alba. Murphy. Zepchinski knocks it toward Punto, who has no play. And the bases are loaded, 1 out.
The ball was not hit hard enough for a double play. However, if it gets by Zepchinski, then you at least get the runner at second base, I think. But because it hit Zepchinski, Punto can't come up with it. An infield hit for Murphy. About the only thing that could have prevented an out for the Cardinals then was for the ball to get through Zepchinski without hitting him. Man.
Now Napoli with the bases loaded, 1 out. Strike 1. Michael Young led off with a double. Intentional walk to Cruz. And the infield hit by David Murphy. Right off his left knee. Feliz getting loose. Time call. Zepchinski picked up by the Cardinals in July in that trade. 3-way deal with the White Sox, the Blue Jays, and Cardinals, and now Yadier Molina goes out to talk as Lance Lynn gets loose. He got the win here in Game 3.
Zepchinski has faced 3 right-handed batters for the Rangers in his 1 1/3 innings. Make it 1 2/3. He struck them all out.
Ball 1.
field. This ball is down and off the wall. 1 run scores. Young. Here's Cruz. And it's 4-2 Texas in the 8th. Moreland now strike 1. And Napoli delivers for Texas what the Cardinals have been waiting for all night. A big hit with runners in scoring position. Greg Gentry takes over as the pinch runner at third. David Murphy, who got that infield hit. It was off the left knee of Zepchinski. Will be replaced both on the bases and then out in the outfield as Gentry will go to center, Hamilton to left. And the count's 0-2 on Moreland, who was homered tonight.
To figure out which was a more valuable hit, Murphy's or Napoli. I think equally important.
And I think that look from behind home plate, runners at first and second on the ball hit by Murphy, might have led Punto right to the bag. That is a ball outside. You never know how a play's going to wind up.
I think it would. I don't think the ball, however, was hit hard enough for a double play. That's the way I saw it, but it's hard to say. Again, if you're there, there's no pivot, no feed.
Moreland strikes out, 2 out in the inning. Kinsler's coming up, and Zepchinski is coming out. Lance Lynn will enter. The right-hander takes over. Second and third, 2 out. And now the Rangers up 2 in the 8th. Some of the reactions from this bottom of the 8th. From La Russa to Washington to the fans, Zepchinski can only think about what might have been had he not touched that ground ball off the bat of David Murphy. And then it's Mike Napoli getting the big 2-run double. Here is that ball up the middle.
Watch Punto going toward the bag, either Punto or Furcal. Furcal had the best shot of completing the double play if it was hit hard enough. But the one thing you can't tell a pitcher is don't react. He's just reacting. It's a natural thing to do. You're 55 feet away from home plate.
Here's Lance Lynn. They're going to walk Kinsler and pitch to Andrews. This is something we talked about in the ALCS. Sometimes a manager will let the previous pitcher give the intentional walk so the new guy isn't brought in, and the first thing he's asked to do is just lob the ball out of the strike zone.
Yeah, if there's any way to develop bad habits, is to come in from the bullpen and throw 4 straight balls.
The Cardinals in the 9th inning will have Craig, Pujols, and Holiday.
The 2, 3, and 4 hitters down by at least 2. And Elvis Andrus will be the 8th man to bat in the inning. Well, here was the strategy. La Russa wanted Lynn to come in for the intentional walk, and now he's going back to his bullpen. Whoever's coming in out from behind that wall, and it's Mott, wasn't ready. So he bought some time by having Lance Lynn come in and walk Kinsler intentionally. Mott will try to keep it a 2-run game. Here is Jason Mott, the Cardinal closer, trying to keep it a 2-run game. Time for the Nikon One replay cam, and it was the good play in the hole by Elvis Andrus, and then the big stretch by Moreland with a go-ahead run at second at the start of the play in the top of this 8th. And now Mott with the bases loaded, 2 out. And you know Ron Washington is over in that Rangers dugout thinking, in this park with the Cardinal hitters coming up, Craig, Pujols, and Holiday, he wants more of those runs that are sitting out there.
Oh, that's right. Even with Neftali Feliz in the bullpen, one of the great young closers. We talked earlier in the opening at both teams playing this like it was a game 7. I think that's still true.
Andrus, strike 1. We haven't seen Mott since he was saddled with the loss in game 2. When the guy at the plate got him for a big base hit. It was set up. Tying sac fly and the go-ahead sac fly. Hamilton and Young. Strike 2. 99 from Mott.
Yeah, I mean, with the elements, Elvis Andrus hits the ball to right field on 90-mile-an-hour fastballs. Mott's not going to give him anything other than a 94-mile-an-hour slider and upwards of 97 fastballs. So you have to swing your outfield toward the right field line and give him the left field line. And that appears to be what Alan Craig is doing.
The strikeout ends the bottom of the 8th, but Mike Napoli, who has had a tremendous season in postseason, has put the Rangers on top for the first time all night. The big bats coming up for the Cardinals in the 9th, down by 2. The usual late inning switch for Ron Washington. He puts Hamilton in left with the lead, and Craig Gentry, who pinch ran for Murphy in the bottom of the 8th, into center. And here's Neftali Feliz, who in his postseason career has not blown a save. Alan Craig is first up. Strike 1 from Feliz. Feliz got the final 2 outs last night. Took over for Derek Holland, walked the lead man he faced, which is the guy at the plate right now, Craig. Over but low, a ball and a strike. Strike 2. Matt Harrison is scheduled for a game 7 if we get there. This 9th inning belongs to Feliz. A 1-2. Fouled out of play. And again, there will be questions about him being, in the end, it goes down as a caught stealing. It looked to us like a hit and run. The question from La Russa when Craig got back to the dugout, we believe it may have been a play put on by the hitter, Albert Pujols. The pitch was high. He was thrown out. Cardinals had a hit and 3 walks, did not score. And now Craig is hit. And that'll bring the tying run to the plate here in the 9th inning with Pujols walking in.
Earlier in the count, Feliz threw a breaking ball. He tries another breaking ball. It slips out of his hand, and Freese walks, and Nolan Ryan can't watch. Don't blame him.
And now Pujols. Tying run at the plate. Breaking ball in for a strike. Dangerous foul ball into the seats. Strike 2. The only game Pujols has produced runs that huge game 3 with his 3-homer night. mph, missed ball 1. Ball 2.
2 curveballs, 2 fastballs, 2-2.
Pujols intentionally walked his last 3 plate appearances. Rangers have to pitch to him now. And it goes from 0-2 to 3-2. Matt Holliday on deck. Runner was going, and he'll come back.
That's not that risky, since if the pitch is out of the strike zone, it's ball 4. And Pujols makes enough contact to warrant sending Craig in this spot.
Another foul. Cardinals trying to avoid a double play, which we've talked about already tonight. 169 times during the regular season for a new National League record. They grounded into a double play with home run hitters to follow Pujols.
Pitchers and catchers are trained that if you're going to get beaten or if they're going to tie, do it with your best pitch, and his best pitch is a fastball.
Struck him out. Throw down. 2 out.
Fastball outside. Napoli for the 2nd time in a row. Craig is out at second base.
Napoli is having an incredible series. At the end of a long year, a guy who was Major League Baseball's best hitter average-wise since the 4th of July has done it with his bat, and now he's cut down Craig twice with his arm. Ball 1 outside, 1-1. Sending the runner looks good when Pujols makes contact.
Yeah.
Looks bad when he doesn't.
what that does to some right-handed batters is it makes them swing at bad balls. Because of the movement on the bases, they become overly anxious. That pitch was about 6 inches outside. And you don't normally see Pujols swinging a pitch like that. But maybe, just maybe, the runner running caused him to do that.
2 strikes on Holiday. Two and 2. If Holiday reaches Berkman, he was hit 32 home runs total this season. Waits on deck. Ball 3 outside. That's foul. The Rangers have never won a World Series in franchise history. They lost in 5 games last year to the Giants, and they're trying to take a 3-2 series advantage after losing big here at home game 3. With them back to St. Louis. And this will continue. After hitting Craig to start the inning, a strikeout of Pujols, Craig out stealing, and now a walk to again bring the tying run to the plate. And it's Lance Berkman.
Lance, the 4th hitter here in the 9th inning. And we have not seen a fair ball yet. And there are 2 outs.
Cardinals have been handed 9 walks here tonight.
And scored 2 runs.
Berkman's last home run was the Division Series Game 1 off Roy Halladay in Philadelphia. Strike 1. Big swing by Berkman, strike 2. Feliz is aiming for his 6th save of this postseason. Berkman is swinging to try to tie it, and it's still 0-2.
That foul tip got a lot of Mike Napoli behind the plate. That's no reward for 2 strong throws to second and a game go-ahead double. This ball had to bite right there in the left bicep of Mike Napoli.
Ball 1 to Berkman.
There have been 2 caught stealings, and now second base is his for the taking, with Mitch Moreland way behind Matt Holliday. And since the Cardinals trail by 2, Holliday elects to stay there.
This one gets away. Napoli has to finish it. He's done it all tonight, and the Rangers win Game 5. A final of 4-2. And they lead this World Series 3-2.
Of all the goofy things in this game, it ends on a catcher going farther than any catcher I've ever seen. And I have never seen a catcher on a 3rd strike underhand a ball to a first baseman. Unbelievable game.
3 hours, 31 minutes. And here's the last play on the strikeout. Napoli missed it, hit him on the left knee.
Yeah, hit the shin guard.
And then he had to go get it and get the out at first. Off the glove, off the knee, and then down the line. The winner of this game is Darren Oliver, his first World Series win. And this is his 18th season. Dotel gets the loss. And the Rangers are 1 win away from their first championship in franchise history. How about Napoli? The best player of tonight's game brought to you by the Audi A8. True greatness should never go unrecognized. The go-ahead bases loaded double to score 2. And then he threw down to get Alan Craig here in the 9th. Let's go down to the field and Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Mike, a lot to talk about. Yep. Let's start with the defense. The 9th inning, the strike him out, throw him out. Pujols and Craig, tell me about that play.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they think, Pujols is going to put it in play. He's a good contact hitter. They were just starting to run at 3-2, and as soon as I got it, I just got rid of it and put it on the bag.
Now, the play in the 6th, Craig again thrown out. Did you think that was a hit run, a miss sign? After the fact, did you know? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough if you're going to hit and run with Albert. So I don't know if it was a tough pitch to hit. And again, I just got rid of it and tried to put it on the bag. Okay, let's go to the 8th inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. Zabczynski's in. Take me through the at bat. I'm just trying to get something to the outfield. Get a sac fly, get that run across the board. I was trying to stay short, and I got a pitch I can handle over the middle of the plate and put it in the gap. Last play? I don't know. I got bad hands. It hit off my knee and my glove, my knee, and I don't know. I just made the play. It's all right. Mike, thanks very much. Joe, back to you.
All right, Kenny, thank you. And for our audience at home, we welcome you to the Chevrolet World Series postgame show on Fox. And we send it right back down to Ken Rosenthal. Ken.
Adrian, hey, talk about the home run. Obviously, Carpenter was doing really well. What did you see in that at bat? What was your mindset going in?
No, he was dealing the whole game, and the previous at bat he threw me 2 breaking balls. And that's he saw pretty good, and I was hoping he throw me another one a little higher, and he did, and I was able to put a good swing on it.
Mike Napoli, best number 8 hitter in baseball?
Definitely, without a doubt.
Now, the Cardinals, you're going back to St. Louis now. You're 1 win away. How difficult a challenge is it going to be in St. Louis getting that 1 win?
It's not going to be easy. We know that. It's not going to be easy to have a really good ball club, but it's better to go over there trying to win 1 game and 2 games than go over there trying to win 2. So hopefully we can get it done. The weather's going to be kind of tough too. But, we have a really good ball club. We believe we can do it.
Now, Adrian, you played a long time. This is your first World Series. You're 1 win away. What are your emotions right now?
I can't even explain it right now. It's just 1 win away. And I can't wait till that happens because it's going to be something really amazing that I'll be waiting a long time for this.
To play in a World Series like this, such a competitive World Series, has it been worth the wait?
Definitely. It's been a really good series. Both teams have been playing really well. And I just hope that, the last team standing will be us.
Thank you, Adrian. Joe, back to you.
What a big piece of the success here with the Rangers. Adrian Beltre in his first year of a 5-year deal. The Rangers win Game 5. A final of 4-2. Another classic, another tight one. So much to talk about in this game. And the guys will on the other side of the break. Napoli with one of the biggest games of his life. And the Rangers are 1 win away. Chris Rose and the guys on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to the Chevrolet World Series postgame show on Fox. And the last game of the season here in Arlington, Texas. It was one to remember. The Texas Rangers have the World Series lead after taking Game 5, 4-2 the final. Hi, everybody. Alongside Eric Karros and A.J. Brzezinski of the Chicago White Sox, I'm Chris Rose, and congratulations to the Texas Rangers. They lead 3-2. They got it done. It seemed that every pitcher out there wiggled in and out of jams. But the St. Louis Cardinals, I guarantee you, A.J., they're kicking themselves in the clubhouse right now.
First of all, another amazing game, outstanding game. But the St. Louis Cardinals are definitely sweating this one, just kicking themselves after this game. They left 12 guys on base tonight. That is really hard to do, especially at the heart of their lineup. We talked before the game about Holiday having to step up. Other guys besides Berkman and Pujols. Guess what? Holiday, 5 guys left on base tonight. Freeze, 5 guys. Nick Punto, 4 guys. It's the second most they've ever left on base in a World Series game since 1982, Game 7. That's a lot of World Series games for the St. Louis Cardinals. If they just didn't get it done 1 through 9 in their lineup tonight, it's just a bad night and you got to move on quickly because Game 6 is coming up real fast.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we just showed highlights of the Cardinal hitters and their futility. But the one thing that struck me, the Texas Rangers pitchers, you didn't see the same pitcher in any one of those situations. C.J. Wilson gets out of it in the 5th. Scott Feldman, the 6th. Alexi Ogando, the 7th. Darren Oliver, the 8th. And Neftali Feliz closed it out in the 9th. Ron Washington does not get a lot of credit, but he managed this game masterfully. Just navigated through the last few innings, used his bullpen extremely well. Look, he outmanaged Tony La Russa tonight. And I tell you what, I was asked before this game, who would you rather be? Tony La Russa or Ron Washington going into today's game? I can tell you right now, with the questions that Tony La Russa is going to have to field tonight, I'm glad I picked Ron Washington.
That's good.
You've got everything right so far.
Well, you can tell these fans are going nuts. A few seconds ago, they were doing the Napoli chant. Well, it was a different Mike. Michael Young that got the rally started in the 8th. A few moments ago, our Ken Rosenthal caught up with the Rangers' all-time hits leader.
Thanks. Michael, talk about the 8th inning, starting the inning with a double. Take me through it.
Well, I wanted to get a little shorter. I felt like my earlier bats, I might have been getting a little long. So I wanted to be a little shorter, a little quicker, just be a little more fundamentally sound and find a way to get on base. Fortunately, I got on second.
How tough was Carpenter early?
He was good. I mean, keeping the ball down, using both sides of the plate, changing speeds, being himself, basically. He's a good pitcher, and it was definitely a pitcher's duel in the early going.
Now, there was a situation where Napoli made the final out of the 6th. Coming off the field, Carpenter appeared to be yelling at him. Were you guys aware of that? What was your reaction?
I don't think it's that big a deal. I mean, I just chalk it up to World Series adrenaline. Doesn't have any, impact on the outcome. This is the World Series. I don't think anybody's really interested in getting that kind of stuff. So chalk it up to that and move on.
This World Series is going much differently than the last one for you guys. What are your emotions now? 1 win away, going back to St. Louis.
I mean, we're a focused group. We're hungry. I mean, we're looking forward to Game 6. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've already been to their park once, so we know what to expect going back. Obviously, we're looking forward to that game. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Michael, thanks very much. Back to you.
All right, guys, thank you very much. He brought up the whole yelling situation. Chris Carpenter really going after Mike Napoli. As a hitter, do you remember that?
Well, you remember that, and I'll guarantee you the guys in that Ranger dugout, they heard about it. Somebody's up there in the video room watching the game. They see that. They come down and they say, hey, look, Carp was getting a little excited out there. It's one of those heat-of-the-moment things, but remember, Nyjer Morgan with the Milwaukee Brewers had made mention of that earlier this year, and we saw it again tonight.
By the way, you don't have to answer it because
we know you're going on a Nike trip with him.
But I still got to play, and I know facing these guys, look, I've yelled at a guy before. I've said some things I don't wish that I had, but at the same time, it's the heat of the battle, like EK said. It's not a personal attack. It's not something where you say, hey, I don't like your mother or something, but it happens, and I get it.
But the ironic thing is that was Napoli early on in the game, and then who absolutely destroyed him later on?
Yeah.
Mike Napoli.
I thought it was very clutch.
And defensively, he did it all.
I thought it was clutch of you to admit that you've said some stupid stuff on the field before. That was nice of you. Real quickly, let's look ahead to the starters for Game 6 Wednesday night in St. Louis. It's a rematch of Game 2, and both these guys were spectacular, especially Jaime Garcia, who's in line for the win before Jason Mott blew the lead there in St. Louis.
Jaime Garcia has been unbelievable for the St. Louis Cardinals, especially at home. He's 3-1 in his last starts at home. He's just been doing it great. He pitched great in Game 2. He deserved to win. He didn't give up anything. Jason Mott came in. We talked about the controversial call to take him out of the game. Jaime Garcia has to do it again. He has to step up, and that's why he's pitching 2 games at home.
Yeah, and the Rangers, they have the guy that they want starting. Colby Lewis has been the best postseason starter this year. He's got an ERA of just under 3. This year also, on the road, he's been their dominant guy. He's a warrior. He pitched well earlier in the series. Expect him to pitch well in St. Louis.
Anybody up here named Napoli? Apparently these people like him up here, and with good reason. Hey, listen, this was the final game of the year here in Arlington, and it ends a very special year in the state of Texas. Last year, they made their first ever World Series. Then they had their first ever Super Bowl, won by the Green Bay Packers. The Dallas Mavericks won their first ever NBA title, and now the Texas Rangers just one win away from their first ever World Series championship. Hey, a quick reminder that coming up next, except on the West Coast, it is your late local news. And a Wednesday night, we're going to be back in St. Louis for Game 6 of this outstanding World Series. Our coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, 4:30 Pacific, only on Fox. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. For more information on tonight's game and the latest in Major League Baseball news, log on to foxsports.com, powered by MSN, the world's favorite sports site. For Joe, Tim, Ken, Eric, AJ, and the rest of our crew, I'm Chris Rose saying so long from Arlington, Texas. Next stop for us, the Arch. We are off to St. Louis for Game 6 of the World Series. The Rangers lead the best-of-7 series 3-2. We'll see you Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern. Colby Lewis taking on Jaime Garcia. Have a great night, everybody.
Major League Baseball, the National Football League, the UFC, NASCAR, and the UEFA Champions League Final. This has been a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are